savage holiday of Thanksgiving. Obviously, you know, the older and older you get, the more you learn, especially in America, because however many years, and then you realize, oh, the institution hasn't really taught me anything of true value of what I need as a human being. So again, I'm 33. I'm just now discovering a lot of things. You know, obviously I've been learning over the years, but the older you get, like the more angry you get, because it's just like, yo, like most people don't even know. And we just keep on carrying on traditions. Like you have older people carrying on traditions that are, you know, just savage. You know, you're like, clearly nobody is reading. Clearly nobody is doing any extra learning or deep dive. And the people that are simply like ostracized. But that's not the point of this video. So the point of the video was to talk about mental health and its importance, especially as African Americans in America. You know, we deal with a lot. We take on a lot from a very young age, typically in our culture, and just in this society. And I want to make this a quick video. But I want to share this message because it's been something that's been on my heart, you know, as somebody that's been in the medical field. I've been an athlete at a high level. You know, I've lived a lot of kind of lives in this 33-year-old body of mine. But, you know, born in upstate New York, Rochester, New York, you know, poverty, working class, wasn't really a lot of, you know, wealth around, wasn't a lot of like health care and just wellness. You know, there was a lot of alcohol, drugs, violence, you know, a lot of arguing, a lot of, it's normal to you. It's not seen as something that is, you know, not normal. And so when you see things that are more normalized, you realize like, wow, like I've really been living in this space that isn't normal for, you know, a long time, and it wasn't healthy. And a lot of people that are older are living this and perpetuating this life on our youngsters, and it's not healthy. And we are continuously, you know, repeating the cycle, and, you know, everybody has to break, you know, just different generational curses. And so I looked at myself as very early, as having to break a generational curse of childhood or teenage pregnancy, right? You know, my parents were 17 years old when I was born. So I was born out of wedlock in a teenage pregnancy, which that's very traumatic, really, because it's like your parents, you know, my parents were still babies, right? They were still kids. They were still learning and growing. They weren't even in college yet. You know, I don't even think they were ever together, you know what I mean? So that's the trauma that I've had to live with and endure. And I'm blessed to say that I'm here, and that trauma has made me who I am. It's allowed me to look at the world through the lens in which I look at it through. But my mental health has also been important because as an athlete, I've studied, you know, and been trained at a very high level to understand mental toughness, different tips and tools and tricks to be able to perform at a high level every single day. And that's stuff that we're not necessarily taught on a day-to-day basis in our communities, by our parents, by our families. We may do it inherently sometimes, but we don't actually necessarily have the tools or the knowledge to really understand what's going on because we haven't been conditioned to know. And so I just want to say, you know, mental health is essential. You know, therapy is essential. I've had therapists, I have doctors, I have coaches, I have trainers, I have consultants. You know, we need a holistic approach, not just a one-trick pony approach. And I think once people understand that, you know, therapy, mental health treatment, and all these different things is not just a one thing fix all approach. You know, you need really a well-rounded approach. You need to exercise and work out. You need to go for walks. You need family and friends. You need, you know, all of these different tools to really help you be the best version of yourself. And that's something that it's taken me years, you know, to cultivate. And then, you know, obviously becoming a husband and a father, you know, there's a lot more stresses, and you know, a businessman and a commuter and all these different spaces. and you realize how valuable your sanity is, how valuable and important wellness is. And I think, a lot of times we wait till we're burnt out, we wait till we're stressed or overworked to really focus on those things. And I think it needs to be a societal focus, because in certain communities, it is easier to be, I would say, healthier than other communities, right? If you look at typical urban communities, there's vacant lots, there's blight, there's trash, there's dirtier streets, dirtier air, dirtier soil and water. Your environment plays a huge role in your health, right? Like your overall health and well-being, environment. And that's what I explained earlier in this live, was my environment, right? Our environments play such an essential role in our overall well-being. If you live in a dirty environment, if you live in a sick environment, typically the majority of the people are going to fall into that same category. Um, so one, you got to focus on your environment. If your environment is bad, you can do really all the things that you think is right. You can try, but you're still going to struggle in some aspects. It's still going to be difficult because, you're going against the grain of the norm. It's not saying that it can't be done. It's just saying that you got to work a little bit harder. And I mean, I could just tell you that from just my upbringing. Like, I don't go around certain environments from my youth because I already know like what it entails. I already know what it involves. So for me, it's like, why would I go back into that environment when it brings up a lot of stress, depression, anxiety, um, a lot of just different like um, things happen in those environments. So again, mental health is essential. Your diet, right? What you're eating, what you're putting in your body, nutrition. Um, we can all do better. I can do better. Trust me. Like, I'm living in America. You know what I mean? So it's easy to go get a quick bite. It's easy when you got kids that want things quick or need to eat. But we have to be more intentional about what we do as well. So for me, I've had to become more intentional, making sure I'm eating more fruits and vegetables, making sure I'm growing my own fruits and vegetables as part of my nonprofit that I'm helping cultivate. Creating gardens and green spaces in urban environments, doing just things that help us be more sustainable. But as an African American male, I think it's important that we really, really start to lean into who we are as men. And it's not about being emotional. It's not about being sensitive. It's about just being a human being. You know what I mean? Like, you can still be a man's man. You can still be that lion. But we have to understand, like, we don't have to live in survival mode all the time. We and we're passing certain things on to the next generation that they shouldn't have to necessarily carry. And so again, I wanted to share this message of just mental health, how important it is. Seek out therapy, and just, I mean, therapy is really just somebody to talk to. You know what I mean? And that person is just like somebody, a buffer. They can give you critiques. They can give you